Good morning, or good whatever time it is wherever you are. Here now, it is Monday morning at 8:30, and if you're watching this on replay, you can skip ahead a moment or two, a minute or two. I'm going to give a few people a chance to come on in. Today is Motivation Monday. Pretty cool. So let me fix my links. Hope you're having a good day today. It's Monday, so I think some people have told me they struggle with motivation on Monday, and so that's what I'm here to fix today, or at least improve. Yes, yes. Pretty cool stuff. Oops, and I forgot the other links. The Rumble links. All right. There we go. So today is going to be, we're not going to do a formal trance today. We're going to do a conversational trance. And what's going to happen is I'm just going to tell stories and just basically have a conversation, and all the changes will happen on the inside, which is really, really cool. In fact, I used to do the formal trance. That's how I used to do things almost all the time. And I got kind of bored because, if you're talking all day with people that are doing this, the conversations are surprisingly interesting, but there's not a lot of words said. So I decided, let's figure out another way to do this. And so I discovered some other ways to do things like that. And today we're going to be doing the conversational trance version, if that makes sense. All right, so let's get started. Get my notes on there. Yeah, okay. Well, hello everyone. My name is Jason Andrews, and welcome to Daily Upgrade. Now, I'm a hypnotist, which means that I know how to change things on the inside to make things better. And today is Motivation Monday. And what that means is today we're going to improve your motivation for all things that you need to do. And so I'm just going to be having a discussion about things. And while I do that, I'm going to drive the change you need at the subconscious level in an undetectable way. Because when you think about it, if something is subconscious, you can't detect it, right? By definition. So that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to start by taking a deep breath, building up a little bit of tension, and then you just let everything go. All right, ready? Breathe in. Hold it. Let it all go. Better, right? And if your mind has been anywhere else today, anywhere else at all today, just going to take all those thoughts and just bring them into here so you can focus in. Now, as I said, today is Motivation Monday. And I think a lot of people need motivation on Mondays because a lot of people work 9-to-5 jobs. I don't really do that, but a lot of people do these days, even if you're working from home. And especially if you're working from home, motivation can be a challenge because you wake up and then you go to work by going to a different room or just to a desk, right? You don't even leave the house, and sometimes you don't even put on any different clothes or anything like that. You just roll out of bed. You can work in your pajamas if you need to. And so motivation can be a challenge. So there's going to be two things I'm going to do here. The first one is to make some obvious sort of mechanical suggestions that will help a person set aside their certain ways they do things in order to get better results and better states. Because if you change your state, you're going to change the way you respond to things. And if you change the way you respond to things, you're going to change the results that you get. Now that just makes sense, right? So the first thing is just a few very simple suggestions. Put on put on a collared shirt if you're a guy. Right? Make some clothing change that is something you wouldn't necessarily wear if you were just lounging around. Make one change like that. For me, today, I'm wearing a collared shirt. This is something a lot of people could wear to work. A lot of the men could wear this to work. For women, it's going to be different. Not exactly sure what the good thing is for that, because women's clothes are so more varied than men's clothes. Men sort of have more of a uniform, and women have a lot more options. So, but there should be something that every woman could put on to designate that, yes, this is this time instead of that time. So the shirt, right? The shirt. When I first started working from home, this was years ago, probably more than 10 years ago, I couldn't do it. I went into my office, opened up my computer, and then started checking emails and started, screwing around on my computer, surfing the internet, all that stuff. And it finally hit me. Like, this is what I used to do. I would literally get up. I would do everything I would do as if I was going into the office. I put on the right clothes, right? I'd put on my shoes. And then I would walk over into my office and sit down and get to work. And you know what? It worked. It worked because you designate that time in a different way. Now, the short answer on what this stuff really is are anchors. Anchors. And an anchor is a nervous system association that when it happens, it's a trigger for your system, for your internal system to do something specific. Now, this type of shirt can be an anchor for, hey, I'm working, I'm focusing, I'm doing things. In the same way, so a lot of people, when they put on their, pajamas or whatever they wear to bed, a robe or whatever, that's relax time. So if you're going to wear your robe or your pajamas trying to work, it's not going to work because that association is contradictory. Does that make sense? So things like that can really help. You want to have a dedicated space. You want to have a little bit of a ritual that I follow this process. I do this, and this, and then I start working. And that process that ritual sends you through a process that prepares you to do the work. And that can be really helpful. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And so that's just a couple of practical things. But there's more things than that. And we're going to get into the subconscious things in just a moment. Now, in terms of what you do at the subconscious level, in terms of motivation is a response to something either internal or external. Does that make sense? Motivation doesn't happen in a vacuum. Now, the agency occurs when it's something on the inside that you're responding to, that you've created in your own head to respond to. Now, for example, some people, I know a lot of salespeople, I've worked with a lot of salespeople to increase their sales and things like that. And one of the things that motivates salespeople a lot is their paycheck, because they get paid on commission. They don't get paid on, oh, you just show up for 40 hours a week and you get this amount of money. No, salespeople are like, I don't care how much you work, you get paid per sale. Great. So they get motivated by the close of the deal and the payment they get off of that. So they think about that in their head and they create this image or sound or feeling or even smell and taste. They use the sensory channels and they create this scenario. They create this scenario in their mind and they think, okay, well, this scenario is great. It looks good. It sounds good. It feels good. And again, I kid you not, sometimes it smells good and tastes good. Oh, sweet, I got a sale. That's taste, right? So they create these scenarios in their mind, and they think, okay, that's something I desire. I want to go towards that. I want that to come towards me, and that motivates them. Okay, well, how do I do that? Well, then I need to do my cold calls. I need to go talk to my prospects. I need to schedule things, and then right. That's what that's what engages them to do the things they want to do. Right. That's the motivation part. Now, if you don't have that, then you're at the mercy of external things, right? External things like literal external reality, in quotes, right? Someone shows up in the simplest form in the animal kingdom. If a larger animal has come up to eat the squirrel, the squirrel is very motivated to run because it's an external thing. We don't have those external things so much anymore. The cause and effect is very disconnected, right? I do all this work and then twice a month, this number on this screen somewhere goes up, right? That's hard for your nervous system to catch, right? I just do this thing every day and this number goes up over there when I check it, right? Doesn't feel like, okay, well, what does it have to do with me sitting down and writing this email or fixing this spreadsheet or this, right? How is that connected? It's harder for the nervous system to connect those two things. Now, in the old days, you would do your work, and at the end of the week, you would line up, and the foreman or whoever would literally give you the money. And your nervous system would go, man, I'm tired. It was a long week, but look, I got the money in my hand. And it's like, there's a connection there. There's a very clear cause and effect relationship going on there. And your nervous system goes, okay, I do this, I get that. That's good. Let's go. Okay. Now we don't have that anymore. And that's why sometime in the last maybe 20 years, jobs stopped being about, hey, look, here's the pay. Right? It's not about the pay anymore for jobs. Have you realized this yet? The jobs now are all about, oh, look, we're a family. Oh, look, you can change the world. Oh, look, you can do this and that and the other thing. Oh, look at all the amenities we have. It's about the day-to-day moment to keep people motivated because that pay does not motivate people anymore because it's disconnected. They realize that the motivation isn't there, but they haven't figured out why. They haven't figured out how. I mean, really, if companies went around at the end of every week and every Friday and then like physically handed out sheets of paper to everyone that said, this is how much you made today. This is how much you worked this week. This is the increase. They did that in addition to just, the financial transfer in the background through the bank, through the electronic banking system. They handed out those sheets of paper. Do you think their motivation would increase with their employees? Heck yeah, it would. Heck yeah, it would. So there's a big lesson in there. When you connect that reward to the work that you're doing now, that works. That works. And if you can't do that, you got to make your own inside your head. So you see it, you hear it, you feel it. Now, I don't know if you could imagine that sheet of paper with the big number of money that you're just getting from working. And it's like, let's say it came right off the printer, but it's not the same printer you got at home. It's like one of those other printers and like it has a certain feel to it, right? It has a certain look to it. It has a sound to the crinkle of it. The ink may have a certain smell to it, right? You put all that together and you go, okay, you see that big number that goes up because that's your money. And you think, oh, yeah, that's what I can do. And so when you sit down, that situation may flash in your head just for a second, just for a moment. You go, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing for the money. And it's not always just for the money. Don't get me wrong, but that's a big component of why people work. Would you do the job you're doing if you didn't get paid? Probably not. So it's funny because you can set this up in your head. Now, I talked about the sheet of paper, but you can do whatever works for you, right? You can do whatever reward scenario works for you, and you just create that in your mind. And then when you're ready to work, you just put that in your head just for a second. Just like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay, now. And see what that does. Feel what that does. Because my guess is that's going to make you more ready to do the work you want to do, you need to do to get what you want. Now, one caveat: don't crank it up so high that you get stuck doing the job you don't want to do anymore. Okay? People, this is how you know it works, is because the problem can sometimes be it works too well. People who go like, oh, I can't quit. Well, why not? Because it's what I do. Like, they get so motivated to do it that when it's no longer the appropriate thing to do, they can't pull out. They can't back out of it. They can't move on to something else. They lose that flexibility. That's not what you want. Okay, so you got to bake in that flexibility. So you got to be sure to do that. But try it out. This stuff works. It works. And now this is just like the entry level of motivation stuff. This is like real, like ground floor level. There is a lot more things you can do for motivation. I mean, who is it? Tony Robbins? You ever met anybody who's talked to anybody who's been to a Tony Robbins seminar? You'd be like, "Hey, man, yeah, have a good time at the Robbins seminar. Tell me how it is." All right, man. I'll tell you, it's going to be fun, but I'll tell you when I get back. And they get back, and you're like, "Yeah, man, how was the Robbins seminar?" And they're like, "Oh, it was phenomenal, and it was fantastic, and oh, I have so much personal power now." And you're like, "Whoa," because Robbins is a master at cranking up motivation. Now, I don't to me, I don't like that so much. If you turn someone into like a, you know, somebody who looks like they've been, struck by lightning and jolted into like this frenetic activity, to me, that's not efficient. That's not the way I do things. But the point is to show, like, look, there's ways to really crank up someone's motivation. But we're starting at the ground floor because you got to start somewhere. And I also don't want to, too much motivation can be a problem too. But try this out. See what happens. Let me know how it goes. So thanks for being here with me today. If you enjoyed this or found this interesting, feel free to share it with others. If you like and subscribe, it expands my reach. That helps, but yeah, it's up to you. And check out the links in my description. There's a lot of things that I can do one-on-one that I can't do in these type of videos. So that might be something interesting. And with that, I will say have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow at 8:30.